Hello students, today I am going to discuss with you an essay which is on the environment, and this has been seen in the past in the academic IELTS writing test. This book is there in my essay, but it was slightly tough, so I have simplified it a bit, and I am making a video on the uh, newer version of the essay which I have written. International community must act immediately to ensure all nations reduce their consumption of fossil fuels, example gas and oil. Do you agree or disagree? Now this is the essay, and this means that the international community means any community which is which has the power to influence many nations, which many nations are a part of, like the United Nations or like that. So the question is that it should act immediately. Immediately means at once, very soon, to ensure, to make it sure that all nations, each and every country, reduce their consumption, decrease their use of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are oil and gas. Do you agree or disagree? Now, this is a topic in which you cannot disagree because you know that fossil fuels should be now used less, and other things should be used more, which are non-polluting, and because these are also finishing. So you have to agree with this topic, and there is no scope of putting a point of disagree in this essay. So you'll have to think of 3 points to make three body paragraphs for the agree side, because there is no scope of disagreeing. Okay, so here this is my essay. Our future crucially depends on the long-term availability of energy sources, which are also safe and environmentally friendly. So crucially means very vitally, very seriously. It depends on, importantly. It means critically, significantly, importantly, essentially. So you can use any word. Uh, our future crucially depends on the long-term availability of energy sources, which are also safe and environmentally friendly. The present resources we use are the fossil fuels, which are neither going to last forever nor good for the environment. Therefore, I agree with the given statement that the international community, like the United Nations, must take immediate actions to ensure that all countries lessen their use of such resources. See the spellings of lessen here. Lessen. Lessen here means decrease. On is the lesson. When you put an O here, then it becomes a lesson which you read in your textbooks, a chapter. But here it is lesson, which means decrease. And here I've used the word therefore. Therefore means because of this reason, because the present resources are the fossil fuels, which are neither going to last forever nor good for the environment. Many students, I put this essay for the mock test, and many students wrote however. So just understand this thing: when you agree with something, you cannot write however. However means but. But I agree. You cannot agree after using a but. So I agree, and so is the synonym of the therefore. So therefore I agree. I hope the introduction is clear. I've taken a stand. I've agreed that the international community must take immediate actions. So there it was, must act immediately. I've changed from immediately, I've made this immediate, which is the adjective form of the verb, and action is a noun. So that was verb adverb, and here I've used the adjective and the noun combination. To begin with, a strong reason for the international community to intervene and see to it that all nations curtail their use of fossil fuels is that no individual nation would take this initiative on its own. Now, this is my first point. This has become a long sentence, so I'll just explain. A strong reason, to begin with, a strong reason for the international community to intervene. Intervene means to take a step in this direction, and to and to mediate. that is to interfere or intrude or uh, you know um, arbitrate and see to it that all nations curtail means decrease, lessen. Curtail means decrease or lessen or limit or inhibit. So a strong reason for the international community to intervene and see to it that all nations curtail their use of fossil fuels is that no individual nation would take this initiative on its own. So reason है कि कोई भी इंडिविजुअल नेशन अपने आप आगे बढ़ के ये कदम नहीं उठाएगा. I have used this Hindi in this just to explain, but whatever I've spoken, I've already spoken in English. So those who are not Hindi speaking, they need not worry about this. Nothing that I haven't spoken, I've spoken in Hindi just to explain the students from India better. So any country which takes a step to reduce the use of fossil fuels would have to invest in the alternative resources, which would raise the price of their goods and their economy would suffer. So, any country which takes a step to reduce the use of fossil fuels would have to invest in alternative resources. Alternative resources are which we use in place of fossil fuels, like the solar energy, the wind energy, the tidal energy, the geothermal energy, whatever other things are there apart from the fossil fuels are alternative resources. And we all know those are costly. So this would raise their price of their goods, of the things they manufacture, and so their economy would suffer. If there were pressure from the international community, then all countries would have to comply with it. So, if there were pressure from the international community, then all countries would have to comply with it, would have to agree with it, would have to do it, would have to fulfill it. So, I have just see in the first sentence, I have put up the point, and in the last sentence, I've just again restated it in different words. So this is a small essay which has been made with just one point. And when we have to put just one point, we can start with to begin with a strong reason. So otherwise, when you have to put more than one point, then the first sentence should be there are many reasons why the international community should intervene. But here I am just putting one point in this paragraph so I can make the topic sentence like this. So this topic sentence puts a point, and then I have just explained this point, supported this point with one more sentence, and then I have restated this point that only if there's pressure from the international community, all nations would do it. Otherwise, no one would step forward and do it. So this is the first point and the first paragraph. Now the second paragraph. The second major reason for the need of international mediation is that when any country uses oil and gas excessively, then the pollution caused affects the other countries. So this is the second reason why the international community should intervene. That if any country causes pollution, it doesn't badly affect that country only, it affects other countries also. This is called cross-border pollution. For example, cross-border pollution from China is causing serious environmental problems in Japan and South Korea, as the Chinese continue to expand their economy at great environmental cost. So this is cross-border pollution. That is why international community has to act, because the country which is causing pollution is not harming just itself, it is harming many others. So there is need for the international intervention, and that is the essay. The international community should intervene, should act immediately. And that is the reason. The reason is second paragraph, I've put the reason of cross-border pollution. For example, cross-border pollution from China is causing serious environmental problems in Japan and South Korea, as the Chinese continue to expand their economy at a great environmental cost. It is well known that air and water pollution do not know any national boundaries. Now, air will drift anywhere. It will not just affect that place where the pollution is being caused, but the air will drift anywhere, and with that the pollutants will also go. And similar is the case with water. If one country dumps its waste in the water, this water will go and drift to the other places also. So this is called This is cross-border pollution, and air and water do not know any national boundaries. Pollutants can be carried by wind and water to places much away from their source of origin. Therefore, solving such problems is an international matter. Here again, see, I have sandwiched the last line of the paragraph and the first line is conveying the same thing, and so in between I have given an example and expanded that one point of cross-border pollution, and so this paragraph is made. Now we come to the third paragraph. Finally, an urgent action needs to be taken for reducing the use of conventional sources like coal and oil. Finally, because these are non-renewable. Because these are non-renewable. They take millions of years to make and are being used at an alarming rate. So the urgent action needs to be taken because these conventional sources like coal and oil, conventional, this is the opposite of alternative. Conventional is what we are using. For example, with other, I'll tell you other examples of where you can use the word conventional. If you get an essay on alternative medicine, alternative medicine is allopathy is the conventional medicine which we are practicing, and all have homeopathy, naturopathy, ayurveda, all these are alternative. So conventional and alternative, these two words you must know for your IELTS preparation. So these conventional sources like coal and oil are non-renewable. Renew is something which you can make new again, which you can make again, but these are non-renewable. They take millions of years to make and are being used at an alarming rate. This means that if international action is not taken immediately, these resources will be gone forever and there will be nothing left for the future generations. Energy from the wind, the sun, and the sea is an everlasting source of power. So, more and more governments should come forward in promoting these sources. Here, an international organization's intervention is needed because individual governments can become complacent. Complacent means unworried. They may not take this matter too seriously. They may be just unworried. They may just relax. So, international organization should intervene so that all countries do it soon. These sources are non-renewable. Conclusion. In conclusion, it is vital for international powerful organizations to pose strict regulations on consumption of natural resources worldwide, of natural resources, of these convention of oil and gas. And all nations must take part in reducing the usage of fossil fuels. So this is the conclusion, and the plan followed is in the first introduction I have agreed, and reason one is no nation would take any step on its own. Reason two is one country's pollution may affect others, and reason three is these resources are non-renewable. So these are the 3 points. You have to have three different points. If you don't have 3 points in any essay, you can make a whole essay with just 2 body paragraphs. You can expand them further with examples. I'm sure it will reach more than 250 words even if you make a 4 paragraph essay. But if you have 3 points, then you can make 3 small paragraphs and make a 5 paragraph essay. So I hope you've liked this essay and you've understood it. I've used a few words in it, not too many, but these words I've tried to teach you also the meanings of these words which you can use in this essay. So thank you very much for watching patiently. All the best for your IELTS exam.